Hey everyone, my name is Keely and I'm the owner and creator here at Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for another soap making video. Today's soap was inspired by a recent overnight trip I did with my mum to celebrate her birthday. I had a fragrance oil sitting on the shelf and I was really struggling to come up with a design idea for it, and it wasn't until we were on this night away I suddenly got the inspiration that I needed. So today I'm going to take you along as I make my Salt Glow Spa Bar, which has sea salt in the soap batter. Let's go! So in my jug here I have my blend of oils, and this is a different blend to the free recipe that I provide down below. Because we're using salt in this soap, and salt is notorious for killing lather, whether it be in soap or any other surfactant based product, I've got a very high amount of coconut oil. In fact, I'm using 70% coconut oil in this because a coconut oil soap will actually still lather up in cold ocean water. I've got a little bit of olive oil in here as well, and I use castor oil to help sustain any lather that will be produced by this bar of soap. And I've also got my favourite ingredient, shea butter, in here too. I like using the shea butter because of the unsaponifiables that get left behind in the soap, which will help combat that sort of dryness that too much coconut oil can have in a bar of soap. Now, to also combat that sort of cleansing effect that coconut oil can have in a bar of soap, I've also set my Superfat to 15%. So that basically means 15% of my oils will not be saponified and will stay behind in the soap, leaving it to be a nice moisturising bar. What I'm going to first of all do here is I'm also going to add in a little bit of goat's milk powder. So I'm going to mix that into my oils. Then I'm going to pour my lye water solution in, and I'm going to mix it up to emulsion. Got that mixed up, I'm going to grab myself a second jug and I'm going to pour off about a third of this mix, and that should do there. Okay, so into the jug that I've got most of my batter still in, I am going to add in some kaolin clay. I'm also going to add in here a little bit of titanium dioxide just to make it go a nice white colour. And then in this bucket here I have some seaweed powder that I'm going to add in. I'm going to see what colour it goes and then decide whether or not I want to add in a little bit of mica to change the colour. Okay, so I don't like the colour of that. It looks like pea and ham soup without the ham. So what I'm going to do is add in some of this chartreuse. I think I've got the chartreuse mica, so I'm going to add some of that in here just to change the colour of that a little bit. I'm going to mix it in. I'm then going to add in my fragrance oil, and I'm using one called Simply Spa, which has notes of bergamot, thyme, there's some ylang ylang, white florals and musk. So now that I've got my fragrance oil mixed into both of these, what I have in this bowl is my sea salt, and I've actually got two different types of sea salt in here. I have a fine sea salt which is very, very powdery, so it won't be too scratchy on the skin, and then I have got some Australian pink sea salt as well. So that's not Himalayan salt, it is actually a sea salt, but it's from one of the pink lakes here in Australia. For my salt, the way I've calculated, you can basically use anywhere from 50 to 100% of your oil weight of salt when you make a salt bar. I like to stick around that 50 sort of percent, and I've actually got just a little bit less than 50. My oils came to 1.3 kilos and I've got 600 grams of salt in here. And what I'm going to do is just split this up between the two of these, and then I am going to start pouring it into the mold. So I've got my mold here, and I am going to do a very simple drop swirl with this one. absolutely loving how this looks at the moment. Using that higher percentage of coconut oil has really given me a nice white batter. What I need to do is just let this sit for a couple of minutes just to harden up so I can pop the embeds on the top of this without them sinking down. So this has been sitting for a couple of minutes and it is now nice and firm, so I can start putting our embeds on. And these are what we made in the behind the scenes video this week, and I'll leave a link to the video up in the top corner there if you want to check out how I made them. And these have been made using some soap dough. I also off camera made some of these little pink flowers just to match in, and I will also be adding just some little green leaves where I think they are needed too. So let's start popping these ones on. So I'll get one done and we'll see what I think, or how I think they should all be laid out. I'll pop my tray in there. So I'm actually going to turn this around so that I have my cut edge down here. I am going to take a towel first of all, and I think we're going to pop that one just on the top there, making sure I stay between my lines. And we'll pop on a little set of the hot stones, and then I've got enough to do 2 flowers on each of these, so I'm going to just tuck that one in there. And oh, that one's got the little green leaf already attached, so we might just pop another one in like that. And that's how I'm going to be wanting all of my little bars to look like. So the inspiration for this soap came from a little girls' night away that I arranged with my mum. If you follow along with me on Instagram, you would have seen that I arranged for my mum and I to have a night away in celebration of her birthday. And we went to a place called Cedar Creek Lodge, which is up a mountain called Mount Tambourine. And I booked us on for a little spa package. So I took her up to the mountain around lunchtime, and we went and had some lunch up in the little village. And then we headed down to the resort and we had some in-room massages. And I'm not very good with massages. I think I'm one of the really weird people in this world that actually can't stand them. I find that whenever I've had massages in the past, I always come out bruised. Not bruises you can actually see, they're internal bruises from where they've pushed down and applied pressure. And I just avoid massages at all costs. But my mum absolutely loves them. So I figured because it was a special birthday, I would have a massage with her as well. And there were 3 different massages that I could choose as a part of the package. There was just a standard sort of massage that wasn't anything too flash. There was one called a salt glow, which involved applying oil and then rubbing the body over with salt to really stimulate the surface of the skin. And then there was a hot stone massage. Now I booked my mum on for the salt glow because it sounded really nice. It just wasn't something I thought I would enjoy. And I thought, well, I'll book myself onto a hot stone massage because I know that they won't actually push and prod and me walk out with lots of bruises at the end of the massage. Well, the lady actually arrived to do the massages and she was lovely. I explained to her why I didn't really like massages, and she completely understood what I was saying, and she said that the hot stones would definitely be the way to go. My mum was then a little bit disappointed that I'd booked her onto this salt glow because I didn't know she really liked hot stone massages. But the lady that we saw, she was just so lovely, and she said, you know what, I've got all of this stuff here, so why don't I give you both? So we basically got a combination of a hot stone massage and a salt glow. Now she only gave me a little bit of the salt glow because she knew that I didn't want any of that really hard pushing and prodding and poking, but she gave me a salt glow massage over the back and it was absolutely lovely. And I know you are meant to be, you know, really relaxed when you have these massages, but while she was massaging, I suddenly got the idea for this soap design where I thought, well, we'll combine it, make it into a salt bar because it is really nice to have that sort of salt massage. And I'll also decorate it with the little hot stones just to represent the 2 different massages that we had. So am I the only person out there that really doesn't like massages? Or are there some of you guys out there that also dislike having massages as much as I do? Though I would say after having this massage with this lady and just how kind and thoughtful and considerate she actually was towards me and my dislike of massages, I would probably actually go back to her again and have another massage. So it's always worth giving these things another go, even if you've been scarred by one particular person. And what I mean by that is I actually went, one of the hotels that I worked at, we had a spa. And part of the thing for working in reservations is that they believe that you should experience the packages that are available so that we can actually sell them to the customers. And that really does make sense. And I managed to avoid for ages for going into this spa to have a treatment. And eventually they cornered me and they said, no, you have to come and have your treatment so that you can sell the package. So, okay, off I went. I went and had this massage and I said, do not touch my hips. I actually have medical issues. I know they're sore, they'll feel really tense, but do not touch them. And they decided that they knew better than me and my doctor and decided that they could actually fix the problem. It actually resulted in me taking 3 days off work because I was in so much agony after this massage that I actually couldn't sit to do my job and I couldn't walk either. And that was the very last time I actually trusted anyone to do a massage, and that would have been probably about 10 years ago. So that's how much it really actually scarred me. But as I said, this lady that we saw, she was absolutely wonderful. So if you are in Australia and you are going up to that Cedar Creek Lodge, I do highly recommend her as a masseuse. My mum got a slightly harder massage than what I did, so she really did actually listen to what we wanted and what we liked as well. So she really did actually change my sort of perception on having a massage. So now I'm kind of thinking I might like to go for another hot stone massage a little bit closer to home as well. But Mum and I had a lovely time on our little getaway. We, as I said, we went up to Cedar Creek Falls. What I wasn't expecting was to have absolutely no phone coverage. This place is only about 40 minutes away from us and it's only about halfway up the mountain as well. So I was very surprised that we had no phone coverage at all. But that was really nice because it meant that we got to sit and talk to each other without any distractions from our phones, and the internet that was available for us to use, it really wasn't very good. Couldn't upload or download any sort of pictures from off social media and things like that. It really was a nice getaway. We also had a really nice tapas dinner up there, so it's been a long time since we were actually at this area we were in, and the last time we went it was just like a little cafe day sort of place. So it was really nice to see how much this place has really changed. So I'm going to keep getting these flowers on here, and once I've got them on, I will bring you down and give you a closer look of our Salt Glow Spa Bar. So here is Salt Glow Spa Bar up close, and I am absolutely loving it so far. I put some biodegradable glitter on the top just to pick up some of those flowers and leaves, and it's really made those rocks and the towels sparkle and shine too. Now, because this is a salt bar and it's high in coconut oil, it is going to set up really quickly. So I'm only going to leave it here for about 3 to 4 hours, and then I'm going to come back and cut it, and we'll see what we've got on the inside. Okay, so I am now ready to cut open into our Salt Glow Spa Bar. It's been about 4 hours since I finished pouring the actual soap, not including the time to actually decorate the top of it. One of the tricks to doing a salt bar in a loaf mold is to make sure that you keep an eye on it, and once it becomes hard enough you start to cut it. If you leave it too long before you cut it, it will just disintegrate and just look really bad when you do go to cut. So if you don't have the time to actually sit and watch it become available to cut. It is highly recommended to do salt bars in individual silicone molds, but I knew I had enough time to do this one in my loaf mold and cut it. So let's cut through, pull that one back, and we'll see what we've got on the inside. And that is inside our Salt Glow Spa Bar. So the front of that one's going to be a little bit plain, but that's still okay. I'm going to come back up, and in between each of these I am going to get all of that soap off of my wire so it doesn't drag through. Shuffle this one along and come straight through. Now I am cutting some of the flowers, but I am missing all of the little stones and towels. Through I go, and here is a piece from out the middle which will have both sides nicely decorated. So I am absolutely loving the look of those swirls in that soap. I am really liking the smell of it as well. At the moment it still does have a little bit of that goat powder milk smell, but I know that once this finishes curing overnight that smell will actually dissipate and it will have that really nice spa-like smell. It does also have a little bit of that seaweed sort of smell to it. Oh, that flower's coming off. Let's stick that back on. It's still warm enough to actually push it back into the soap. That's it. Through I go. Here is another piece, and I'm really loving the swirl in that soap there. I can see all the little grains of salt that are in there as well, so I can't wait to actually use this one. I have done salt bars before in the past, and they are just so nice to use. They sound like they might be really drying on the skin and really scratchy and all that sort of thing, but from my experience of having a salt bar before, they usually produce a really nice creamy lather, and your skin just feels absolutely amazing from all the super fat that you actually put into that soap as well. So I really like using a salt bar. It's just been a while since I've actually made one. So I am really happy with the inside of that. I am absolutely loving the top. Those hot stones, the little towel, the bit of biodegradable glitter, and those cute little flowers on the top really set off this little soap, and do suggest that it is perfect for that little spa in your own shower. So I hope you've enjoyed watching how I make my Salt Glow Spa Bar. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. If you've got any questions, I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And until the next video, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you then. Bye.